Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to show you how I make planters out of Papercrete. In a previous video, I showed you how to make the main ingredient, which is paper pulp. I will link that video down below in case you haven't seen it. The two other ingredients that you will need are Portland cement and perlite, which you can get at any home improvement center. You will need 3 parts paper pulp, 2 parts Portland cement, and 1 part perlite. Start by mixing all 3 ingredients together in a large bowl. Be sure to wear a mask when working with cement products and also wear gloves when mixing. Mix the ingredients until combined and let sit for 5 minutes. In the meantime, prepare your mold. I'm using old Tupperware as my outer mold and a yogurt container as my inner mold. The inner mold is optional, but it gives the inside of the planter a more uniform and finished look. Use cooking spray to coat the inside of the outer mold and the outside of the inner mold. Give your Papercrete one final mix and you are ready to start filling the mold. Begin by grabbing a handful of mix and make a patty shape like you're making a burger. Place the patty on the bottom of the mold and press down firmly. Repeat this until you have about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of Papercrete on the bottom and smooth the surface by patting it down with your fist. Don't forget to place a hole in the bottom for drainage. You can do this using your finger, a pencil, or even a stick. Repeat this process, but now place the patty on the side of the mold. Your sides can be slightly thinner than the bottom. Continue until you get to the top of the mold. At this point, I tested out the inner mold to see how it was fitting and noticed one side was thicker than the other. I pulled out the inner mold and added more Papercrete to the thin side. I then placed back the inner mold and had a snug fit. You may notice the inner mold tends to want to pop up. Use something heavy to keep it down. Next, place a plastic bag over the entire project and let it dry for 2 days. You want the drying process to be slow, so be sure to keep it out of direct sunlight. After 2 days, I removed the inner mold and saw that the bottom of the planter looked a bit wonky. Luckily, the Papercrete was wet enough for me to press it down. Since the Papercrete was still wet, I decided to let it dry for 1 more day before removing it from the outer mold. You may find that in cooler temperatures, you need to leave it in the mold longer. If you remove the mold before it is dry enough, you'll end up ruining your project. After 1 more day of drying, I removed the outer mold with success. You may need to lightly tap the mold in order for it to release. As you can see, it is still very dark because of the remaining moisture. In about a week, it will look like this one I have made previously. So it's that easy to make your own DIY planters at home. I have a few more examples to show you. This is more of a wide, shallow bowl. And then this one I have planted with a fern, and it's a larger size. I also had a few things to go over, and hopefully I can answer some of your questions if you have them. First of all, these are porous, similar to terracotta. So even if you don't put a drainage hole in, you're going to want to protect the surface if you're putting this on a table or anything like that. So make sure you have some sort of saucer underneath it if you are putting it on a surface that is important to you. And if you forget to put a drainage hole in, it's no big deal. You can drill through these very easily with a power drill. Another fun idea for these is to make them into hanging baskets, which I will insert a picture of one that I've made recently. And if you're interested in making these colored, you can use pigment that is meant for cement, and you add that to your paper pulp and mix that really well before you mix in any of the other ingredients. So I briefly wanted to go over molds. You really can use anything that you want as a mold. So the easiest to remove your piece out of the mold would be using something like plastic like I showed in this video. But you can use wood, glass, metal, virtually anything you want. Just be aware that the more rigid the material, the harder it's going to be to get out of the mold. So you can use a liner, which can be a trash bag, any type of plastic lining, such as saran wrap. That way it'll be easier to demold your project. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.